I can't hear you.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Daddy Dave, and this is another Farm Sim Talk. And we are starting out
Fran and
strong
Jonah
here
donated
tonight. Holy smokes.
$1.99 through Super
This is a
Chat.
show where we
Oh,
get
This
to
is
goodness.
going to be fun.
this is a show where we get to go ahead and talk with other creators here in the farm sim space. I'm talking about content creators such as YouTubers and Twitchers. I'm talking modders. I'm talking map makers, the whole nine yards. And today I am joined by Gold Gaming. Gold, how are you doing today?
What? I'm on the show. Well, what's up, guys? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. So before we get going, I want to send a special thank you to Gold Gaming, not only for joining me here today, but some of you will not know this, but Gold has been diligently working in the background to help me coordinate with other creators here in the Farming Simulator community to try and bring them onto the show. So, Gold, thank you so very much for being a part of this, not only on the show, on the face of it, but also behind the scenes as well. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely. I've enjoyed it. I'm wanting to see you take this idea and thrive with it. So any help I can give is uh I've enjoyed it. So no problem.
And not only that, but it's actually kind of serendipitous that we are actually in this position right now. So, a little backstory before we get into the actual content of the stream tonight. So, I had reached out to Gold very early on in this whole process of trying to get all the kind of guests booked for this show. And he actually responded very differently than what I anticipated him to respond with. Gold, do you want to kind of elaborate as to how you responded when I first approached you with this idea?
I think I laughed at you and said, "Hang on a second, I'll be right back." And then I shared a couple screenshots with you because I had this same kind of idea that that you've got going here uh about a month or two back, and I reached out to some of my friends and said, hey, would you be interested if I was to start this thing up, and would you come talk? Because a lot of people I talk to are kind of behind the scenes modders. If they do stream, it's without a camera, so kind of shy, kind of lone wolves, if you will. So I didn't really think I'd have very many people interested. And it turned out I did. I had several people like, yeah, I'll do it. And I thought it'd be awesome. Well, then something else popped up that I kind of journeyed into, and I put that on the back burner and kind of just let it sit back there. So when you messaged me, it kind of put a sparkle in my eye and said, heck yeah, Dave, you're doing it, and I'm gonna help you because I wanted to see it happen, and I wanted to see somebody run with it and make it successful. So um, it's awesome. It was pretty cool.
It was one of those moments where great minds think alike. So it was,
That's it.
and what was hilarious about it is it's not even a lick of a lie. He did laugh. Like I asked him, it's like, hey, do you want to join me in this? Laughs at me, and then he says, BRB. So it was not the response I was expecting to get, and then I'm like, huh. And it was really early on too, so I was very much nervous as to not getting the kind of response, either a yes or a no. It's like, okay,
Right.
what am I getting myself into here? So before we get going, where can everyone find you?
I am at Gold Gaming 3281 on all platforms. Kick, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube, Discord. Uh, I think that's all of them. I only really I'm trying to only use YouTube right now, but I'm everywhere. But
Gotcha,
it's all the
gotcha.
same at Gold Gaming 3281.
And do you want to give anybody any shout outs before we get going?
Uh, well, as far as fellow gamers. I'm sure we'll discuss them at some point during the interview. So I say let's get started.
You
Let's
got
get
it.
started. I appreciate everybody that I'll shout out to the 11 people watching right now. Appreciate
They
y'all coming in to hang out with us. Y'all are while we do this.
absolutely, yes. And thank you also very, very much for joining in. So let's go ahead and get to our first segment. We call this segment Digging Up Dirt. This is a segment where we go ahead and get to know you for who you
Oh
are
Lord.
kind of behind the scenes, not really the farming sim personality, but more you personally. So, kind of starting off with, is YouTube your kind of full time job, or do you do something behind the scenes?
Uh, Hobby, if you will. Um, as far as like what I do full time, is that what you're asking? I'm sorry.
Yeah, if you wanna tell us what you do full time, or if you just want to leave it as a general. Uh,
Uh, YouTube or the game of Farm Sim and the little bit of streaming I do is kind of like my stress relief, if you will, my getaway. I am 25 years almost into law enforcement, and it can be very taxing. So it's kind of just my getaway, and that's just kind of how it rolled into. Well, I'm playing this game and watching this guy on YouTube. Why don't I try it? And that's just kind of how it snowballed.
I gotcha. Well, as I always say, for anybody who's in law enforcement or military or first responders, thank you for your service, and thank you for your service for your local community, because that job is very, very difficult. Lots of stressful situations to be under. So, I don't think that law enforcement hears it enough. Military hears it enough, but regardless, thank you for your service.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So, what kind of hobbies do you have? Do you like outside of farming sim? Do you get to go out fishing, hunting, anything along those lines?
I do enjoy hunting, avid hunter. I was lucky enough to marry into my deer lease. My wife's family has just shy of 1,000 acres, about 10 minutes down the road, uh, where they play with cows and hay and all that stuff. And it also where I get to go hunting and relax. It's our one of our favorite places to hang out. As far as hobbies outside of the gaming realm, um, I would say, you know, any of my kids' activities, doing it with them, they're all in, some type of athletics or band. And so that keeps us very busy. We donate a lot of our time on Friday nights running the concession stand at the football games. That's part of the band boosters, that type of stuff. Um, and then us as a family really love road trips, like doing a lot of vacationing. And um, uh, surprisingly, I didn't think it'd be this way, but my two youngest kids that I have at the house love road trips. They'd rather go on a road trip than, uh, you know, fly somewhere or, whatever. They're all about, I mean, we've gone to see Mount Rushmore and stuff, been to Colorado and drove to Disney World twice. They enjoy the long ride and hanging out and seeing America. So it's been a blessing.
Oh, that's excellent. So it sounds like they're definitely more of the take the scenic view kind of children.
Yes, absolutely.
That's excellent. Jonah, thank you so much for your super chat as well as the 5 gifted members. Thank you very, very much. So
Thank you, Jonah.
you mentioned that you are a avid hunter. Is there anything in particular that you go after, or?
Uh, I don't do any bird hunting. I've had several friends that try to get me to go, but it's never interested me. I just usually go deer hunting in the fall. Uh, that's about it. Just deer hunting. We love our deer meat.
Mm, nothing better than some good venison.
Yes, sir.
Especially you get some venison spaghetti. Ooh, it's been a hot minute
Hmm.
since I had any of that.
or chili. Very good.
Oh, venison chili. Oh, gold, you're speaking my language. What about fishing or sports or anything along those lines?
Uh, I enjoy. We go fishing every once in a while. Not we're not big fishermen, but we'll go to the state park. I live right down the road from a state park or whatever. Every once in a while, and go fishing. We got a pond on the farm we can fish at. Um, as far as sports that I follow, uh, it's painful to say, but I'm a Cowboys fan. Being in Texas, that's kind of you have to, or you lose your Texas card. Um, and it's been a painful 25 years or so, but and growing up and currently with my kids, we've been a wrestling family, so we like keeping up with WWE and all the wrestling. I don't know if you even noticed my cup I'm drinking out of right now is a WrestleMania souvenir cup. Um, but yeah, we're wrestling. We're those weirdos that like the wrestling.
Hey, I'm right there with you. What's your favorite era?
Man, mine have to be when I was a kid, so like the '80s, late '80s, early '90s. Um, the Macho Man and Hulk Hogan and WWF, and then people like Sting and Ric Flair and WCW. Just the old school wrestling. But I like the current too. The current's pretty good. It might be because I'm enjoying it with my kids. But the storylines, I guess, and the way the business is run is just so different now. But it's fun to watch still. It's pretty fun.
Oh yeah, and I'm right there with you. I'm definitely was growing up in the '80s and the '90s. That was some of my favorite wrestlers that you named there too: Sting, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man. Yeah, the whole nine yards. They were absolutely fantastic. Loved growing up watching them, especially Hulk Hogan when he was the I am a real American. That
Yeah,
that was the good old days.
the
Oh,
red and yellow Hulk Hogan.
red and yellow Hulk Hogan. Then yeah, he ended up going towards that whole Attitude Era with the FWO and the black and white and
Hmm.
uh
Yep, Hollywood.
Hollywood. Oh, good times, good times. So, do you do any like watching movies, TV, read books?
Um, Books, not so much. Luckily, my kids and wife enjoy it. They're more read than I am. Um, but we love movies as a family. It can be anything from Disney to whatever, but we love going to see a flick every once in a while, or even here at the house and popping some popcorn at the house, and uh, we enjoy doing that quite a bit.
And what would you say is your favorite movie?
Oh man, like all time favorite Everest movie.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to say Old Yeller.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah, it's there's so many in my top 10, I'd say, but uh, that one just always it's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the first heartbreak dog movie that I can recall before the whole. Oh goodness, what was that movie with? Wasn't it Owen Wilson and the dog? Um,
Oh, Great Dane. Did he have
no,
a one in a Great Dane he had?
well, was it a Great Dane? I thought it was a Golden Retriever.
I might be thinking of a different one then.
Yeah, it was advertised as like a family friendly kind of movie, and then the dog, unfortunately, as dogs do, passes in the end, and parents were pretty upset because they took their kids to it and not understanding or realizing that that's what the movie was going to entail. Um,
Marley and Me.
Marley and Me, yes, that's it exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Old Yeller was Marley Me before Marley Me was a thing.
Yep.
But good movies. So, what about music? What kind of music are you into?
I love all music. There's except for maybe like the newer extreme. I can't understand what the heck they're saying. Rap and too heavy of metal nowadays, where they're just screaming grunts or whatever it is that they do. Um, but yes, other than maybe those, I love everything. I would probably say my radio is usually on a some type of country station more times than not. Old school country I like, red dirt, Texas country. Um, I would say it probably that more than anything, but I love all music. That's another thing. I was a band nerd. My wife was a band nerd. My kids are band nerds, so we're always around the band, and we've kind of passed that love of music on to our children too. So,
That's awesome. Do you have like a favorite artist or?
uh, I would probably say my favorite band would be Metallica.
Oh,
And my
nice.
favorite, if I was just to say a singer, it would be tied between, oh man, uh, probably tied between Elvis and Johnny Cash.
Oh, two titans right there. I like
Yeah.
it. I like it a lot. So you mentioned in your words band nerd. Um, is there a instrument that you grew up playing or?
I played the bass guitar and the tuba.
Okay, let's see. And you also mentioned how you were big into movies, that you frequent the movies and whatnot with the family. What would you say is the weirdest or most obscure movie that you have seen?
Hmm. There's plenty of them out there.
And to give an
Uh,
example, one that I always refer to when I'm talking about this title specifically is a movie called Escanaba into Moonlight, and it's a very regional movie. If you're not from the Michigan area, specifically in the Upper Peninsula area, most people will not understand it whatsoever. It'll just completely like be white noise.
Man, I don't know. I've seen a fair share of weird movies. Um, I'm gonna have to ponder on that one a little bit.
Okay. So another example that I always give for that one as well is a lot of people don't know this, and it's technically not a movie. It was a made-for-TV movie, and it was actually made by George Lucas way back when. I think it was in the mid or late 70s. It was called the Star Wars Christmas Special, and it had all the original actors, all the original cast, the whole nine yards. It had like characters like Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Leia. Um, it had Chewbacca. I mean, it had everybody, and it had many other people. Like B. Arthur was in it. So it had like the star-studded cast. And it was right off the back of, I think, episode 4, if I'm not mistaken. And it was an unmitigated disaster of a movie. Most people will not make it 5 minutes through that movie without turning it off. So,
I have not seen that one.
if you're looking to torture yourself, I recommend it.
Pull that one up, huh?
Yeah, it's one of those where, like I said, I have watched it from beginning to end, and it is an absolute dumpster fire from beginning to end. It's you can tell that every single one of the actors were there because they had to be, not because they wanted to be there. It was bad, just bad all the way around. The makeup was atrocious. You look at like Mark Hamill, and it looks like he just took an entire paint bucket and just threw it at him. It was bad, so bad. Anyways, so has it always been your dream to be a content creator, or did you just kind of fall into it?
I just kind of fell into it. Uh, like I say, I started off on console, playing various games, and um, my oldest son, was always watching content creators, and I used to make fun of him. I was like, "Really, you're just gonna sit around and watch people play a game? What? That's silly." I was the uncool dad, I guess, and I just didn't get it yet. You know what I mean? How big gaming was, or the content creating part of it. And finally, and that was years ago. I mean, my oldest son is now, uh, how old is he? 23. So he was still in school. So 8, 10 years ago, and now he's kind of jealous because my younger kids and me are playing games and streaming and all that. And he's like, "Why weren't you cool back when I was a kid, Dad?" But I just kind of fell into it. I was playing, like I said, playing on console, um, and then just randomly started flipping through YouTube because I was probably looking for help on the game I was playing or something. And I was like, "Well, I'll Google it," and came across a YouTuber by the name of Tagback TV. I was playing Red Dead Redemption, and he popped up immediately, because that's what he blew up on, was playing Red Dead Redemption and playthroughs and this and that, and he had every kind of video you're looking for, where to find this or that, or how to, whatever. And so I started watching him, fell in love with him. Um, and I'd say that's just where it started. And I was enjoying it so much, and moved into PC. My oldest son, moved out, graduated, moved out, off doing college and working and all that stuff, and left his computer behind. So I was like, I'm gonna take advantage of it and start playing computer games, and fell in love with it. And uh, one thing led to another. I ran into another YouTuber, Big Rig Frosty, and his game types were American Truck Simulator, that's where we got the Big Rig from, I guess, and Farm Simulator. I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." So it just kind of snowballed from there. I didn't start playing Farm Sim till uh, 22 is the game. I think I started playing about 2 years now. I think it's about February of 2023. So my gaming career is only about 2 years long, I guess you could say. And I owe it all to a couple of YouTubers I've watched.
And I think that a lot of us kind of fall into that kind of same space. I know myself, I attribute Mr. Sealy P as somebody who I directly attribute him as the reason why I started my channel. So yeah, I think it's very common for people to be like, you know what, I like this person. Let me see if I can take a stab at it, kind of thing.
Hmm. I kind of take it back. Um, Big Rig Frost, I used to kind of just have him playing. I come home from work. He always streamed in the evenings, about the same time frame I've been doing it. Um, and I'd come home from work, eat the dinner, do this, do that, and that's about the time Frosty would play. So I'd get on the game and play with him. Well, uh, and he's been a streamer for several years, but due to, my motto is always in real life first, IRL, whatever it is. That's, you got to take care of real life first. And unfortunately, that's happened to him. So he's uh, gone back to work full time. So he doesn't stream anymore. So that's actually what kind of, well, I don't have him to watch anymore. Why don't I try it? And, I'm already playing the game. Why don't I just turn on YouTube and see if anybody wants to hang out, type of thing? That's really how it happened. Frosty went back to work. So uh, I'm sure I would have tried it eventually, but that's kind of what happened.
So one of those where you're just trying to fill the void almost.
Right. Yeah. I was still going to play the game regardless that the streamer I'm watching is gone. So I just kind of, might as well.
I gotcha. And you've mentioned that you have kids, so you have like a home life, a work life, and you have your creator life. How do you find the balance between all of those?
Uh, well, like I just kind of said, it's in real life first. You know, I always it's always got to take priority. I'm just you know, I work 10 hours a day, Monday through Thursday, which I'm blessed to be able to do. After working in the business for long enough, you kind of get to pick your schedule and be off when you want to, type of thing. So it's kind of nice to be able to do. So it's easier to, attend the kids' events at school, or if track meets, if it's on a 2 o'clock on a Tuesday, I can leave work and go to that. Just being able to do that type of stuff really helps. But like I say, it's those things first. If I have the time, then it's make an episode, or stream real quick for 30 minutes, or um, see who's on there. So it's not much of a juggle for me, because I don't do it on a tight, my as far as the streaming aspect. I don't have a schedule per se. I might try to dial it in at some point, but right now it's just kind of when I have time type of thing. So it's not too bad for me.
Well, that's good. And you were mentioning before how it's kind of your stress reliever. So I imagine it's one of those that not only can you do it when you have time, but you're doing it kind of wind down from the day as well.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
So, what kind of things inspire you or motivate you?
And look, just in general, or
Yep, just in general,
uh,
like you said,
I
outside
would
of the
say,
YouTube career.
I would say, knowing and this might be more work related or because of work, but being able to help somebody, and know that I've helped them. I'm not ever looking for a pat on the back, or a golden star or anything, but me knowing that I was able to help somebody, even if they don't know it's me, just being able to help people. That it's what keeps me going. It's probably what's made me be able to put up with my job for so long, because it's not the same job it was when I started. So knowing that I can still make a difference, help somebody, and on the clock and off the clock, it's just a great feeling.
Absolutely, and it's certainly one of those that you always got to try and find the positives in everything that you're doing. So it sounds like you're actively searching out those things. So that's good. That's a good thing. Uh, what is one of the things that people are generally surprised to find out about you?
Mm,
So to
well,
ask it a different.
more,
Sorry, go ahead.
like I say, more recently, it's people that I've known forever, family and coworkers and stuff like that, finding out that I'm doing this now. Like, "Rick, you're you're a gamer and a streamer now? Like, what?" So they kind of, rib you a little bit about it, but they think it's pretty cool. Um, I would say outside of that, I don't know, probably that, I don't know, that's probably the main thing I can think of right now. People find out I'm a gamer now, or whatever.
And you'd mentioned before how you started out by playing Red Dead Redemption. Great game, by the way. Um,
Yes.
are there any other games outside of the farming simulator that either you create content for or that you are just playing just for fun?
Uh, my kids make me play Fortnite every once in a while. Um, I would like to say I used to not be very too bad at it, but recently I just stink it up. But they still enjoy that I play with them. Um, other than that, let me see. Let me think. I enjoy. There's a series, Mafia and Far Cry. I enjoy both of those series. on the computer, and um, that's about it. I still go back and get some Red Dead Redemption in every once in a while. It's just such a beautiful and well-made game. And talks with number three possibly being in the works once GTA 6 comes out is pretty awesome news. So we shall see, I guess.
I gotcha. Now, you'd mentioned Mafia, and I used to love that series. I love that series. And I'm still in a fairly active debate with one of my cousins about which one of the Mafia games was the best. And he's very much a, oh well, the third one's the best because it's the most recent and it's the most beautiful, the best graphics, all the whole 9 yards. I attest that number one was the best. What would you say is the best of the three?
It's been a minute since I played them. If I was actually, when you first said that, I was gonna, in my head was two. For some reason, I'm thinking two had the better storyline.
So I will agree that two had a great storyline. The reason that
Three was
I
beautiful.
yes,
Uh, I mean, it's a great series, and there's a new one coming out very soon.
I was not aware of that. Ooh,
Yes,
now you
I
got
don't
me
recall the
excited.
date, but there is a new Mafia game coming out very 2025. I don't know the date, but very soon.
So the reason that I always attest to why Mafia 1 was the best is that it had all the kind of detail features that the latter games didn't have. And what I mean by that is it had those like cruise control, like the speed limiter kind of thing. And if you're going above
Hmm.
a certain speed, the cops you'd get the attention of the
Hmm.
cops. They'd start to chase you and pull you over, all those kind of things. And it just made it kind of seem like more simulator esque and
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to kind of
It
break.
was different for its time.
Yeah, you didn't see too many games that kind of went down that vein of, hey, you got to obey the traffic laws, you can't run red lights, you can't do any of that kind of
Hmm.
stuff, or else there's a penalty if there just so happens to be a officer in your immediate area, kind of thing. So
Right.
it's just those little details that I was like, you know what, I really appreciate that, and they really kind of went away from that in the latter versions of the game. So, do you have any pets?
I do. We have two cats. I've got a turtle behind me, and we had five dogs, but unfortunately, we lost one this past Sunday. I had to bury one of our oldest dog this past Sunday, which kind of was a stinger. Came out of nowhere, and but they're part of your family, you know. So it it's a heavy shovel when you got to dig your own dog's hole, you know. So it wasn't fun.
I'm sorry to hear that. I have pets myself, so I completely understand, the pain that you have to go through when that time comes. It's one of the most unfair things is knowing that you're going to, you know, always outlive them, kind of thing. Especially because they bring such joy to our hearts. So, who would you say is your favorite creator outside of the farming sim community?
Outside current, um, I'm gonna have to say I would say Big Rig Frosty if he's still active because he didn't just do farm sim, he did all simulation games, which was fun, especially when something new came out like grocery store sim or sweeping the parking lot sim or uh, garbage man. I mean, if they had the word sim in it, he would test it out. It was very cool. Um, but he's not. And outside of farm sim, man, I don't know. I enjoy people that play other than stuff than farm sim sometimes, but I know that messes with algorithms. Like the other day, Game Joy was playing. I can't think of what it was. Fire. watchtower, watch fire march. I don't know, but it was awesome. It was, but that's a different question. Let me get back to your question. Um, I'm gonna say my favorite content creator is, phew, man, that's a tough one. Uh, I know it. Based off how she treats her community and how the non-toxic feeling that is in her community and the way she treats everybody and really enjoy watching is Headshot Chick. Name is sounds a little aggressive, um, but she's a Fortnite streamer, and but she is the sweetest thing. Her community is such a good place to hang out. If nobody is streaming Farm Sim, she streams during the day while I'm at work. If no one's streaming Farm Sim, I usually listen to her and watch her chat while I'm, you know, pecking away at the computer and working and doing whatever. Um, but yeah, Headshot Chick, a Fortnite streamer of all things.
Well, and that would make sense. So you said that you play Fortnite with your kids, so one of those that
But
not outside of the realm of
there's
uh, understanding to start ingesting that kind of content as well.
Bring up Game and Joy, and he's in the chat. He said it's Firewatch that he was playing. It was a very cool game to see. Just something different. It's enjoyable. I like seeing different, just break up the monotony of always farm sim. So it was pretty cool to see something else.
Absolutely.
And it was a crazy game.
And what about inside the community here in Farming Simulator? Who would you say your favorite
That
creators are?
that is that's a loaded BS question you would ask me, Dave. Really? Who's my favorite creator? Oh my Lord.
I mean, you don't have to say me.
Uh, God dang. Well, I watch different creators for different things. There's some creators I like to watch live. There's some creators that I enjoy watching their series, their recorded series. That's usually what I'll, uh, if I'm playing and not filming or, I'm not streaming or nothing, I'll watch somebody's series. Several of those I like. Man, that's a crappy question. Oh my Lord. Uh,
I,
my
I will
favorite.
I will say just because you're saying people are your favorite doesn't mean that other people are bad.
Oh, that's true. And I wouldn't watch them if they're bad. Um, I'm gonna say, uh, I'm gonna say the herd. If I
Okay.
was to pick one, it would be the herd. His storytelling and editing and thoughts he puts into his series just blow me away. They're absolutely, you forget that he's playing farm sim. Um, so cheap plug for the herd. I highly recommend going to watch one of his series. Air just, it's like you're watching a CBS Sunday night episode of something. It's just amazing.
So I've asked that question many times, and I'm used to kind of the stereotypical, oh, well, DJ Goham, oh, well, Mr. Sealy P, oh, Daggerwin, like all the big names, that have come up over these
Yeah.
past several streams. And it's great that you took a second to think about it, and then you threw out somebody who may not be as recognized as those other people. So that's to have total respect for being able to just stepping back from it just to give it a good thought. Um, so let's see. Um, if you could meet any three people, whether current day or throughout history, who would they be and why?
Mm, who could I meet? That's another good one. Uh, Man, that's a tough one. If I could meet three anybody's, who could I meet?
So would
Current or
there
past, you said?
current or past? So if there's like a famous artist that you'd like to meet, like a somebody like a musician, sports player.
Current or past, who would I want to meet? Man, that is a tough one. Let's say Dust Bunny. No, hey, no, all seriousness, I would love to meet all these people that we hang out with. Our little community is so awesome. Um, we got a great little community. Um,
And I tell you what,
Man, that is a tough one though.
let me buy you a few seconds here. So big shout out to Dust Bunny as always. I credit her to the start of this series and all the work that she has done in the background. Dust Bunny, thank you so very much for all the hard work you've done up to this
Absolutely,
point.
absolutely, she is a rock star.
So any three people, who would they be?
Uh, I'm gonna say I would say one, and this would be the answer regardless of who had the seat. But I would like to say I met a president. I'm not just saying it's Trump or whoever. I would like to. I think it'd be pretty cool to meet the current president of whenever. If I was to pick one, uh, it'd be pretty cool to have met Kennedy. I think
Okay.
that would have been an interesting conversation. Um, that's one. Uh, Two. Think of somebody current. Hmm.
And to kind of build off of what you're saying, it would be a great honor to meet a president. Just
Oh
full
yeah,
sentence
any.
stop.
I recently got to tour the White House. I had to go to D.C. for some training, and before I went, I got a hold of our local senator, and he lined me up with a tour. Fortunately, uh, nobody was there. As back in when did I go? November, I guess. Yeah, even if I was got to run into Biden, it'd been just too cool. But you're not going to get to do that. But uh, no, outside of that, yeah, it's a really hard question. Man,
So part of the reason why I asked this question, and it's I know it's a very open ended question, but the reason that I ask it is because it often offers us a window into the individual that we're talking to allow us to understand kind of the people that they look up to or idolize or like things that they would deem important. So that's
well,
kind of part of the reason why I asked that question.
one I can give a couple answers probably, but another issue I have is the saying, of course, is you never should meet your heroes because you look at them and idolize them for the how they are in the movies or how they are on the news when the camera's in front of their face. But and I've actually had that. I won't mention any of the people's names, but I did get to meet some people, and they were just 100% put a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm like, man, what a piece of work, you know. But I would probably say, um, I don't know if he's my number one favorite actor, but probably one of the Mount Rushmores is Bruce Willis. Love a
That's a
lot
good
of
one.
his movies, and I think he would probably be a cool dude to sit back and drink. Unfortunately, he's got bad medical problems right now. Sadly, here he can't even talk. I can't remember the condition he has, but he can't even communicate. So he's not too well off. But it'd been pretty cool to sit back and drink a cold one and chew the fat with him and see how he is in real life. Um, that's two: Bruce Willis and Kennedy.
Yeah, and
Oh
Bruce
man.
Willis, he's made some classic movies, some really really
Oh
good ones.
man.
One of the most underrated.
Armageddon, Pulp
Oh,
Fiction, Die
yes.
Hard. You can just go on and on. Yeah, I mean, we used to back when going to rent movies was still a thing before COVID. Uh, our our local place in our little town just had a Bruce Willis wall. It was awesome.
Oh, that's
Moonlighting,
fantastic.
exactly, Nacho. I used to watch that with my mom. That was a classic. Uh, Man, number three, just to hang out and talk to. Mm, well, let's go into my wrestling love. We'll say, and this is one of the ones I would be afraid that would, disappoint you. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, fellow Texan, fellow hunter, drink a beer, walk a mud hole in you, and walk it dry or whatever it is. But that'd be one of the ones I'd have a fear would disappoint you. But there you go. There's three.
That that was a really good one right there. So I would have never even have thought of Stone Cold Steve Austin because I would have thought back to like my childhood growing up, like the Hulk Hogan's, the Macho Man's, and so on and so forth. But I think Stone Cold would be a really good one to meet. But you're right, it's very dangerous, quote unquote, to meet those people that you look up to because they could be completely different than what you kind of build up in your own head based on what you see on the movie screen or based on what you hear and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely a safe bet just not to meet your idols because you might be disappointed. So, what was your first job, your first paying job?
My first paying job. Oh, well, my first real paying job was working with my dad or for my dad. Uh, my dad was owned his own business. Uh, he did commercial laundry equipment, owned a company for commercial laundry equipment, doing repairs and installs. And I used to help him on during the summers. They're too young to actually work, but it was a paying job. My first real job where I got paid was at Subway. I was a sandwich artist, making them sandwiches.
I tell you, Gold, it's getting kind of scary because between the wrestling and the first job, I also worked at a Subway in
Did
my younger days.
you?
It wasn't my first job, but it was pretty darn close.
I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun.
I enjoyed the job, but I ended up having a boss that she she had family in the business and was trying to move her family from one store to our store. Unfortunately, to do that, she had to get rid of all the people that were there currently. So I didn't last too long after she joined.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, it's hard to deal with sometimes.
It is. It is. Um, so what would you say was your favorite part of that particular job?
Uh, I, where I grew up was a small town, so there was very few eatery choices. You pretty much had McDonald's, Subway, or Dairy Queen. So you got to, I was in high school, so I got to see either, teachers or my classmates or whatever. So it's just cool being able to see them. It just made it fun. A couple of my friends, I made them come around to make their own sandwiches, and my real good friends, I'd make them come make well when the boss wasn't there and it was late. It probably can't do that nowadays. Uh, wouldn't be clean. But yeah, like, hey, get your butt back here, make your own sandwich.
What's funny is again, I did almost the same exact thing, and there were times where if people wanted me to hang out with them that evening, I would make them come to the store and help me clean the front lobby and
Clean
all that
up.
stuff,
Yep.
so I could get out
Yep.
quicker.
Yep. You want to go
Uh,
hang out and have fun? Come help me bust down to everything.
well, and the shop that I worked at didn't have cameras or anything like that. It was very similar. It was a small town. We had a McDonald's and a Burger King were basically the only other choices besides the Subway. And it was later when we got an Arby's, and we were just the talk of the local area at that point. But yeah, I completely understand what you're saying about that kind of not having a lot of choices, and being able to just kind of run into your kind of local scene kind of thing on a constant basis. So what would you say was the least favorite part of that job?
Mm. Uh, I would have to say doing all the prep in the back, slicing up tomatoes and onions and stuff like that. It's just like boring. You're a kid and you got to get all the tomato, everything ready, restocked up in the cooler for the next day and all that. Just the work really,
Hmm.
the work stuck.
So were you lucky enough back when you worked for them? We had this little slicer that would actually, like, you'd kind of crank it, and it had two blades on it, and as you would crank it, it would cut everything very uniformly. So you'd stick your tomatoes in there, and it would just slice all the slices. You stick your peppers in there,
Well,
same exact thing. But I go to
as
other
I was
stores.
saying that, it seemed like we had some kind of device for one of them, or maybe onions and bell peppers. But I remember we had to hand do tomatoes. Whatever that thing was, it wasn't compatible with tomato, I guess. I don't know. But we had to hand do tomatoes. But yes, everything else was, we had that little slicer
So
thing.
I would go to other stores in my local area, and the reason I asked that is because there was one store in particular where it was owned by a different franchisee, and they didn't have anything. Everything was done by hand, but it was this weird kind of device where it had these like little combs that you would stick into the fruits and veggies. You'd stick it in, pierce it, and it would give you the even spacings in order to
Oh
slice
yeah,
through manually. So it still had that
yeah,
uniform kind of
yeah.
dividing, but it was manual process, and people would be there for hours. Like we could in my local store, we could just slam through things very very quickly, get through and just cut it up and be done with it. But that store there, you would have one person dedicated pretty much the entire day just slicing through manually every single one. And the worst part about it was those onions, because they were going so slow through them. By the time everybody was, everything was said and done, the whole store stunk of onions, and the person back
Hmm.
there just looked like a fire hydrant was gushing down their face. Just the tears are just flowing down. Uh, good times, good times. But that is the end of our first segment there. Now, I did see and get some questions here. First one I'm going to go to is on my Discord from Dust Bunny. Dust Bunny, thank you so much for sending this in. And she asks, how do your wife and kids feel about you doing YouTube? And do you play Farming Simulator with them?
Uh, they, my kids think it's cool. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but supports me because she knows it's my, uh, getaway, my stress relief, my, whatever. Uh, she's okay with it. The kid, like I said, the kids, they think it's awesome. So, they all want to be streamers like dad because I've got tens of followers, and but no, they support it and think it's funny, really.
I gotcha. I gotcha. And then let's see. Looking through some of the chat here, we got any questions in here so far? Uh, okay, we got Rail Fanning Jonah says, question for later. What's the longest road trip you've been on?
Mm, I guess the longest straight shot is always going to Disney in Florida. That's about 18 hours, and we always straight shot it. We usually leave at night and drive through the night. Kids and wife will sleep, when it's time for it. Uh, I'll drive as long as I can, and then me and my wife will swap around. So as far as straight shot, uh, just call it Dallas to Orlando, however far that is, basically. And longest mileage, or I guess it was just a big loop we made. Uh, Left Dallas, went and stayed the night in Oklahoma City. Went and saw the memorial where the Oklahoma City bombing was, and stayed the night there. And then drove all the way to South Dakota to see all that area, a couple wineries, Mount Rushmore, all through those national parks, and seen all those wild buffalo and all that. And then we went southwest from there and went to Colorado, um, and made it to Colorado on July 4th, actually, and saw an awesome uh, fireworks display. And then came back through West Texas back to Dallas. So just a big old loop. Central Texas is a place that I'm okay not ever going through again. Or not Texas, Central America, I should say. Just corn and cotton field and soy fields after another. They all just blended in. I don't know where people got food. I don't know where kids got educations. It was insane. Um, I was ready to, it was bad. Uh, if you're in Central America and all you got is a Taco John, I think it was called, I'm sorry. That was just a horror. Dairy Queen was not Dairy Queen in Colorado. Uh,
Ooh.
they they may have had the ice cream, but they didn't even have Texas tacos. It was just sad, sad. I don't want to leave Texas.
I don't blame you. I've told my wife that if we were to move anywhere outside of Florida, it would probably be to Texas. But
Oh,
so
also, you said it was end of part one, right?
it is end of part one.
I'm gonna
Yes.
switch from my case hat for all you case people. And now we'll go to John Deere.
Oh, there you go.
I got to represent for both sides tonight.
Well, I appreciate the case. Let's see. So I got a message from Zoots Modding. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Yep,
Says
that was Zoot.
says ask Gold what he thinks about modding and how he feels about how Giants is doing.
That's a good question, Zoot. I have the utmost respect for all these modders. It is a bunch, and I've been blessed to befriend several modders, Zoot being one of them. Um, who else we got? Gaming Joy, um, Hashy, Snake Bizzle, with the Stovers is now dabbing into modding. several modding. Excuse me. It's a. I don't think people appreciate it enough. It takes a lot. They get a lot of heat for not being fast enough. Uh, they get a lot of heat for not doing it the way the user wants it. Um, and my answer usually is if you don't like the way they gave you this free awesome thing to use, go learn to do it yourself and make it how you would like. That's just the easiest thing. I know it's a whole nother world for you console folks. I never got to play Farm Sim. I was already on PC by the time I started playing Farm Sim, so I never got to deal with that. But I do know that if it's not on Mod Hub, yeah, I don't get it. You know what I mean? So kind of a stinker on that, but it seems like they're trying to make it better with this last upgrade on the 25. Um, it's a it takes a special person to be able to do it. Like I was telling you earlier, I've been dabbling in it. I am not considering myself a modder at all. It's going to take a long time before I even attempt to give myself that title. I am a understudy, if anything, trying to learn from all these great people. I try to. Zoots helped me out. I'm working on a couple things. Several people have helped me out. Um, what was the second half? Something about giants.
Says, and how does he feel about how Giants is doing?
Uh, they're getting a. It's kind of a loaded question. It's a hard question. Did they push 25? Maybe. So far, I mean, the game's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I love the game, but could they have just made it a patch on the 22 and kept working on the next new one? It seems like they may have rushed it to appease people. Um, I think it could have just been a big patch on the 22, really. But um, it seems like they are addressing the issues. Unfortunately, the release date for Farm Sim right behind it is holidays. So they kind of put themselves in a hole right away. You know what I mean? And it set them back. I know some of his mods have been in trying to get approved for, I think he said 30 days or something, 40. I don't remember. Josh, correct me. But they're behind. But is it because of the holidays? Probably a little bit, still playing catch up. Is it because they're focusing on all these issues that the console, and I heard the console people are having a lot of issues. I don't remember if it was PlayStation or Xbox or one of the others having some type of crashing issues. So are they focusing on trying to fix all that, and not messing with the mods really? Or there's just so many things that are pushing it back. But I feel like, uh, I feel like they're doing the best they can. I think they get too much grief, but since December 2nd, woo, yeah, Josh has had some mods submitted since December 2nd and still hasn't seen anything. So I don't know. Are they wasting all their time? Because I know they also picked up another game right at the same time as launch, some type of racing game. So are they putting all their manpower onto it now? I don't know. It I don't know. I don't want to bash them. Um, only thing I can request is to make the dang fog. It's as beautiful as it is. I think it's foggy too much, too long or something. I wish we could dial that back or off like the tornadoes, but I've enjoyed it. I think they're doing great.
And looks like Zoot has a follow up asking, how about paid mods?
Ooh, that's a political question. Uh, I think if Zoot You sorry son of a. I think people have the right to do whatever they want with what they make. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Do I support it or would I do it? I don't think so. But if someone thinks their mod is uh, unleakable and they want to charge money for it, go for it. It somebody will buy it and it'll be on one of the shady sites before you can know it. So I don't see it as I just think it's a waste of time. If I'm making something, I'm making it for me and my enjoyment. And beyond that, I want y'all to play it if you want to.
Fair
You know,
enough.
I'm going to make it for me regardless. I'm not charging myself, so I've already made it for me and my enjoyment. If you want to play it, here it is. That's the way I think it is, or from me it would be.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see. Bearded Geek Gaming says, "What? No WCW out of Texas Gold? Oh, I'm sorry.
I actually
WCCW. I'm sorry.
WCCW, yes, which was right out of Texas, at the Sportatorium. I actually did see some of the Von Erichs there and Stone Cold Steve Austin back when he was just Steve Williams wrestle there. So I did do some WCCW way back in the day. Sure did.
Now, when Steve Austin was Steve Williams, didn't he have like the long blonde hair and like that was before he did the
It,
bald look?
yep. Went. He did. What the heck was it? He tagged with. I think it was Brian Pillman. Oh, Stunning Steve Austin. Is that what it was? Something like that, or
Oh, I think
I'm
you're
having a brain
right.
fart right now. I think it was Stunning Steve Austin. But yeah, he kind of was going for the Ric Flair look, had the long blonde hair, wore a sparkly robe a little bit, and then he started balding, and then that's when he went hairless or started shaving.
Yeah, I think you're right. All right, so I got another one for Dust Bunny, and this one's on behalf of. Let me find it again. Joystick Geezer. So Dust Bunny, again, thank you so much for sending these my way. So they say from Joystick Geezer, what is your favorite farming simulator map?
Well, good question. I don't think I know it, Mr. Geezer. Um, oh, Mr. Geezer. My favorite map
Well,
is
actually,
not on
let
25. It's going to be from 22. And man, I got two. It's between two. And it's either going to be Alma, Missouri. I don't know. It could be three. No, we'll leave it on two. Alma was a great one. And then I would probably say Elk Mountain. That was a PC only map, but it was a beautiful, beautiful map.
so because it is a PC only Mac, I'm not familiar with Elk Mountain, but Alma I'm very familiar with. I did an entire
Yes.
Let's Play series on that one. Loved that map.
Yeah, I love it.
What was your favorite part of that map specifically?
Uh, I don't like maps that are too roady, if you will, too busy. Um, like what's the main uh, map right now that on the 25, the end game map? Um,
Oh, Riverbend Springs.
River, but it just seems like there's roads everywhere, so it makes it seem smaller. I don't mind small fields. Excuse me. It just doesn't seem small town to me when there's so many roads and so busy. So Alma, it did have the little town off to the side, but really it was just one perimeter road that went around the whole map. Train goes through it, and then fields. So, I think it had what, three, one, two. 3 in-game farms. So, I mean, it was big enough to have several farms, but it still felt small town. You know what I mean? It wasn't too busy. So I really enjoyed that.
You
And
know,
it's just beautiful, plain beautiful. Mr. Celabuki knows how to make a map.
absolutely. And I don't think I ever thought of it like that, but what you're saying makes a ton of sense because I know where I grew up in Michigan. I was out, pretty rural parts of Michigan, and it was all pretty much grid lines. Your roads. You had roads that
Hmm.
went north south. You had roads go east west, but they were very spread out, far apart. Kind of thing. You weren't getting all these kind of side roads going out all over the place and all that kind of stuff. Um, but I don't think I ever thought of it like that, but I think that was kind of inherently why I liked Alma so much, is because it just
Hmm.
reminded me of home. And I always attributed it to that main stretch of town right there, because it always reminded me of my hometown. Grew up right off, the town was right off of a big lake. And right there was Main Street, right next to the lake. But on that main strip, there was always American flags, like pretty much all year round kind of thing. So it just always reminded me, seeing the American flags kind of lining Alma's streets there, just reminded me of home.
Another one that would probably be in the, I guess, would be third place if those were 1 and 2 in no particular order. Uh, and I think it was PC only due to size, but was Edgewater, Saskatchewan.
Oh, that was all
Um,
platforms too.
was it? Okay. That was very well done also.
Yeah, that was
Very.
a really good one. And it was nice too because they had a lot of extra features, like the
Hmm.
swathing and stuff like that, before swathing became kind of standard in game.
Yeah.
So second question that Joystick Geezer had was, what was your favorite mod? Or what is your
I'm
favorite
gonna
mod?
hit favorite mod hands down is Easy Dev. I know that's PC only, but it for especially doing creator stuff, it's just a lifesaver to be able to I don't know, just it was helpful. It was very helpful. You had to just drop down a couple hay bales real quick for a recording or whatever, turn on flight mode or this or that. It was just all together. It was hands down the best, in my opinion.
Any of those convenience mods, especially like for yourself and myself being content creators, anything that we can have access to be able to make things just that one step easier. Uh, you know, Perfect example is Gaming Joy's adjustable. Uh, why can't I remember it?
Pickup widths.
Pickup width. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
That one's huge because on camera I can have it standard size. Off camera I can pick up a football field's worth of worth of
Yeah.
stuff. So it's just
Absolutely.
those little convenience things really make a huge difference, especially to people like us. And then last one from Joystick Geezer was, any tips for live streaming?
Uh, well, I'm definitely not a professional of any type, but I would say, from my opinion and the type of people I enjoy watching, um, are people that just are themselves. And at at the end of the day, if you're not having fun, you're not going to attract people to your stream. They're not going to have fun with your, you know what I mean? Just be yourself and grow naturally. Don't try to do any Hollywood. Don't try to do anything that is not normally you. Let people be attracted to you and your style, and I think it'll just everything else will fall into place. I see a couple shout outs to UMRV chat. That was a great map also.
I'm trying to remember which one that is.
Upper Mississippi River Valley.
Yes.
That might have
Okay.
been PC only. I think that was a big one, wasn't it?
Yeah. So it was PC
Yeah.
only. But that is one that I have heard of because of how good
Yeah.
it
It's
was.
yeah, there's plenty of people that did series on that.
So now we're at the end of our first segment. So let's go ahead and pick up on our second one. This one is called Meat and Potatoes, emphasis on potatoes. This is where we get to know you as a creator. So kind of the deeper dive into you personally. So, or not you personally, but you as the content creator. So currently on your channel, do you only produce farming sim content or do you work on other stuff as well?
On YouTube, yes, I'm currently only doing farm sim content. If I do feel like streaming anything extra, if I'm playing with the kids on Fortnite or uh, if I was to do Red Dead Redemption, let's say, I would probably do it on either TikTok or Twitch. Uh, I have in my head to not mess with my farm sim algorithm, to not steer away from farm sim. I don't know if that's correct or not, but that's what I've been kind of doing. I'm just trying to build my farm sim family here on YouTube naturally. And I've heard too many horror stories with messing up algorithms and this and that by trying to do something else. So that's kind of where my mind works, I guess.
Makes sense. And you mentioned that you started playing Farm Sim in 22, correct?
23, about 2 years.
Well, I mean,
February of
Farm Sim
23.
22, the actual game
Oh
itself.
yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, yes. Farm Sim 22 is my first Farm Sim game. And actually, back to when I was talking about the movie rental place, we used to, that was kind of a Friday ritual because we like movies so much. But we would go pick out a movie or two and let the kids pick out a video game, and never failed. There would be a Farm Sim game in the video game section, and me and my wife always made fun of it. Really, I mean, because we're out here in Texas on 1,000 acres, and just thinking, why would somebody want to go home and play a farm game? That's just so silly. It's just kind of how we were. And then here we are. That's the content I'm making is farm sim games. So that's kind of, we rib each other still about it, because we pretty much made fun of it for so long. But man, once you got to playing it, it just it's addictive. It's addictive.
And you'd mentioned how it's a kind of a stress reliever. Is that kind of what drew you to Farm Sim, or was it just you'd mentioned the YouTuber that you followed was one of the people that kind of introduced you to it, correct?
Yeah, I had a kind of a coworker introduced me to uh, Big Rig Frosty because we were talking about gaming or something at one point, and I was asking him what he played, and he said, "Oh, I play American Truck Simulator." And I said, "Oh, that's cool. I play, we're just kind of small talking." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, you go check out Big Rig Frosty." And then I did, and that's just kind of how just watching him play with, he had a few uh, guys that he played with all the time, and just watching them play was just fun. Just relaxing. And I was like, I'm gonna give it a try.
And can you let everybody know like the types of content that you create on your channel?
My first, I did when I first started making content. I tried doing lives. My internet wasn't liking it, so I started recording, and I was just did a series on Hobo's Hollow on 22, just a let's play. I wasn't comfortable enough to, actually, storyline it or anything like that. Even though I was watching some, but it just kind of a let's play. And then I started befriending some modders. So I've added a kind of a modder view uh, recordings. I currently have a couple videos out reviewing trucks right now. I've reviewed all the Chevrolet trucks that are out currently for PC. All the Ford trucks are out for PC on another episode. I actually did that one on a live stream, and I'm about to record either tomorrow or Saturday all the Dodge trucks. And then I'll do a fourth one. I'll bring each winner from each brand to face off to see who's the ultimate brand in Farm Sim. So, uh, that's, and then my live streams. So I haven't started a Let's Play or a series yet because I've been live streaming it. I am doing a playthrough currently on um, with the Stover's edited map of man, I'm having brain farts on map names today. Um, Anybody in chat, what's Stover's map's name? Small Town USA. Uh, it's a PC only map, of course, since it's a private edit type of thing. But I'm doing a playthrough on it, but just on my live stream. And I'm enjoying the heck out of it. Having a lot of fun.
That's awesome. And funny story, I actually was in preparation for this. I was going through your channel and whatnot, and was seeing some of your content. And I watched a good chunk of your dive in with the Chevys and Fords, and I'm just sitting there. It's like I loved how you had the like the I don't want to call it an obstacle course, but it was that giant hill for towing up. I was like, that is actually really kind of cool.
I got that idea from Mr. Rusty Money. If he's still in here, that credit goes to him. He does a tractor test and pulling test. So I came up with something similar for those trucks. So that credit can go to Rusty Money right there.
That's awesome. I like I said, I was having a good old time watching the kind of you were starting out. I think you started out with the Chevy, and then you went over to the Ford, and you were just kind of swapping back and forth amongst the different styles and created versions and whatnot. And I was watching you going up the hill, and it's like, I don't know if some of these are gonna make it.
Yeah, some of them it was close. They all made it, but it was yeah, they were a couple of them were screaming.
So, what was one thing that you never expected when you started your channel? Some examples that I'm asking for are like the sense of community, any unexpected backlash, like uh, just kind of things that just kind of happen that you never thought would.
Uh, well, I was hoping for the community, but I didn't expect it to be as great as it is. I never started this, and I'm not ever pushing to be the next DJ Go Ham or whatever. I do have a full-time job. This is just a side gig, if you will. Um, but the community I'm associated with or that I watch, and I may not say something in the streams, because I'm either playing myself or I'm at work or whatever. But I still try to give everybody watch time, and I feel like I feel like we're all here to same thing, just have fun. I've made good friends. I'd like to or acquaintances. However you want to name it. But I mean, everybody I'm currently seeing that's watching us right now, I mean, I have a lot of respect for. I enjoy what they give to these communities. Um, I guess that's what I didn't expect it to be so great.
Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying there. Would you consider Farming Simulator currently to be your favorite game? If not, what would be your favorite game?
Like currently at this time, it's my favorite game. But if you're asking what my all-time favorite game is, I would have to say Red Dead Redemption 2. It's just too beautiful and storylines too amazing.
Yeah, the whole Red Dead Redemption series is spectacular. Um, yeah, I agree with you. I'm a big fan of that game. Been a while since I played it though. And you play on PC, correct?
Yes. Yep.
Um, if for some reason let's say PC went down, you weren't able to play it. Would you go to a console knowing that there's so many restrictions and limitations being on the console, or would you just hold off until you were able to get access to another PC?
Uh, I wouldn't mind playing it on console. Um, and I actually tried because my daughter wanted to play it when I first got it, or a little after I first started playing it. So I did purchase it for her PlayStation, so she could play it, and she was needing help. So and I play a mouse and keyboard when I'm on Farm Sim. Even though I do have a wheel and stick, I still a mouse and key. I need to play with the wheel more. But of course, you're on uh, controller on console, and it was a whole new beast. I was trying to help her, but I was like, "Babe, I don't know. I have no idea how to get that hay bell off or whatever it was." It took a while, but it was. Uh, yes, I would mind going to console.
Okay. And earlier you'd mentioned how you're starting to dabble in the modding scene. Um, are you specifically working with mods, or are you trying your hand at maps? What kind of modding are you working on?
Um, I've got a couple mods that I'm working on. Uh, one is a 1969 Chevy Chevelle.
Ooh,
Uh, Another is a uh, what's a gate really, and it's hard to explain. If I share my screen, can you switch my camera to my shared screen?
um,
See,
I think that'll
do you
just kind of
know?
automatically
Ralph
switch
Fanning
over
Jonah
depending on what
donated
you're showing from Discord.
$1.99 through Super Chat.
Okay, let's
I
see.
have a plan, Arthur.
Hang on. I just want to share it with you.
Jonah with a $1.99 super chat says, "I have a plan, Arthur." I don't know what that means.
Yeah, it's Red Dead.
Oh, wow.
He's always got a plan.
He's always got a plan. Took me a second. Took me a second. Thank you, Jonah. I appreciate it.
Uh, this mod that I'm about to show you, here you go. Here's a picture. Pull it up. Is from when I first started it. That's the only picture I'm seeing right now. But it is my goal to get it in game. So, Josh, if you're still here, once I feel good about it, you're gonna have to walk me through how to get it in game. Share my screen, and there.
Oh, there we go.
All right, is it showing up?
It is.
All right. So this is a gate. Think of this as can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Okay. So think of this as a cattle guard, and this is the gate. Or that's going to
Okay.
split open. This buck will go off into there, and this buck will go off into there. Open up, and this will just be a plain cattle guard you'll drive over. And then I'll have a
Oh,
mat. This will be a brick wall and a brick wall, and that they kind of hide into when the gate's open. But when it's
that's
closed,
brilliant.
it's like they're fighting. And then I'll also have or my goal is to also have a matching fence that'll be a set. It'll be this gate and then the fence that you can use to go off of the gate.
I tell you what, I really hope that you're able to put that out for all platforms because that would be an amazing addition to the game.
That I'm gonna have to, like I said, I'm gonna have to dabble with one getting it complete, and hopefully Mr. Josh can help me on everything else.
Ooh, and now we're seeing like the
What do I
infinite
need to
looping.
change here? Oh
Uh,
yeah, let me
yeah, I think it's just a stop sharing. There we go.
there we go.
That's awesome. Oh, that would be an amazing addition to the game.
But that's
So,
that's my two mods I'm working on. But I'm also my goal is to always or has always been to make a map. I'm currently at the beginning stage of one map, um, but uh, I don't know if I'll be able to get it in Mod Hub. That's not really my concern yet. It's just to make it. If I can make it and it's playable, then I might see if I can get it into Mod Hub. But it's just a small goal of mine.
well, that's awesome. Is it based off of a real life location? Is it just kind of
It is the one I'm currently working on will be our real life farm. We're just right down the road.
oh, awesome. See, I think those are some of the best maps because they're always kind of grounded in reality. And because they're grounded in such a way, they tend to have that simulator vibe that really kind of comes through. Perfect
Hmm.
example is like Calmston Farm that released here a little while
Yeah.
ago. That one is, from what I understand, is so kind of true to life that you could go to the actual area and be like you're walking through the game. So no, that's brilliant. I again, I hope that's something that comes out for all platforms because uh, that's definitely my kind of play style. So how much of your day would you say consists of being able to either play Farming Simulator or to make farm sim content? And that includes modding
Mm,
as well.
I would say the modding, like I say, is just a I'm just baby stepping into it. It's not getting enough time really. I need to get back with my boy Zoot and we can keep grinding away and keep learning. He's a great teacher. But I would say I try to, if I am to play, probably roughly 2 hours, during the maybe in the evening once, we've had supper and all that. On the weekend, I may play several hours if time allows, um, on my days off or whatever.
So earlier we touched on what your most favorite map was, and it was from FS22. What would you consider your least favorite map?
Um, that is almost an impossible question. And I say that because I have the handicap of being on PC, and there are so many extra maps that console players may not ever even know of or see. And I download them all because I can, and I test them all. And there were some that, well, I'll tell you what, the types of maps I don't really care for are if they're just too flat, just flat, 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 no character maps. I'm not going to name any in particular, which I can't think of because there's a bunch of them. But if it's just like there's no character, just no character. You know what I mean? It bores me. Not that that's bad or they did bad. They did more than I've done so far. I'm not bad mouthing the modder. It's just that as a player, it bores me. I like character. I like realism. You know what I mean? I just yeah. I
Which would
think there was I'm trying to remember the map of it. The Texas one in FS22. I think it was all platform.
Big Flats.
Big Flats. There you go. That was it. And that was supposedly based off an area where I work, literally. And
Oh wow.
yeah, as soon as I heard that, it's like it's based off blah 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 Texas, and I'm like, oh really? I downloaded it real quick, and I'm like, where's that? It was not based on that area at all, and then it was just super flat. I just get bored on that.
No, and I completely understand and I respect you, throwing in that, hey, you're not trying to call out or throw shade or anything like that. It's not a question that's intended to hurt people's feelings or anything like that, saying that X
Hmm.
is my least favorite map, because we all have our personal preferences. We all have tastes and things like that. Like you were saying before, flat maps are not your thing. I'm the same way. I'm not big on flat maps. They tend not to have enough to be able to kind of make them one feel real, because there's not too many
Yeah.
places around that's going to be like perfectly flat. There's always going to be
S-
general gradients, you know. And
Central America. Remember what I was talking about earlier
yes.
with all those. Oh my God, I'm never driving through those states again. It was horrible.
Yes, but even those are going to have, you know, small like terrain changes and things like that. It's going to be, you know, almost unnoticeable for the most part, but it is one of those things where just that kind of vast expanse of nothing, um, it just you almost get that road hypnosis. And it's the same thing in the
Hmm.
farming simulator. You get that kind of farm hypnosis where it's just there's not enough to kind of keep you interested in continuing on, unless your whole goal is farming the entire map kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So, like I said, it's not intended to hurt anybody's feelings. It's certainly not intended to call anybody out or anything out. It's one of those, we all have our preferences, and that's again the whole point of this show, is to kind of learn more about the individual. So, if you could pick any map throughout all of Farming Simulator to come to FS25, what map would it be? Now I know that you
Mm,
have only been playing since 22, so this it might be a
yeah,
limiting question, but
that's all I can reference. I know Alma's coming, so I don't have to say it. Um, I guess I'd have to pick mother number two would be Elm Creek or Elm Creek, Elk Mountain. Elm Creek was in my head because I was reading a thing about it possibly coming back. But no, Elk Mountain.
gotcha, I gotcha. And of the maps that have been announced coming to FS25 so far, which one are you looking forward to the most? I have a feeling I know the answer to this.
Um, the ones that I know that are coming is actually uh, Celabuki's map that came out at the very end of 22. I know is coming back. Um, it was a never can remember the name of it.
Oh,
Do
was it
do
the
do
Boss?
Bosnia, something
Yes.
Bosnia.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that was so beautiful. Oh man, that, I mean, Celabuka, however you say it, is just he's awesome. He does good at it.
Yeah, Celebuki makes amazing maps, and what I love about Celebuki's maps as well is that they're not just, you know, the map itself is gorgeous. Pretty much every map is across the board, but they add all those extra little details in the productions, in the farm itself, like all those little extras that just makes it go above and beyond.
Hmm. Oh, and also the guy that made Edgewater, Saskatchewan. I was watching his YouTube channel. Uh, he randomly went live out of nowhere while he was editing his new one, which is also Saskatchewan based. I don't know if he's come up with a name with it yet, but uh, he said he's made one map for every farm sim. I think this will be his third or fourth farm sim in a row. Um, but as well as he did on uh, Edgewater, I mean, I know he'll do great on whatever this new one is.
Oh yeah, and if we use Edgewater as a kind of baseline, then I think we're going to be pretty satisfied with what we get.
Hmm.
So before FS25 released, what was one feature that you were most excited about? So we were in that kind of period of, you know, before 25 release, we were getting all these kind of bits and pieces of information. Which one of those really excited you the most?
Mm, uh, I, I guess the ground deformation, possibly being more realistic ish. It may be a little too exaggerate Is that the right word? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, now that I'm playing it, I can have a tractor sitting in front of my gravel rocked driveway in front of my shop, and then I move it, and it's got like four craters from the tires. So it's a little excessive in some places, but the idea of it is pretty cool.
And what feature from FS25 were you initially excited about, but you soured on very quickly?
The fog, the fog.
That's a
Yes,
very common answer to that question.
easy, easy. I on paper, it's beautiful. It's a great idea. I was excited for it, and I still think it's beautiful. It looks great, but when it's 7:30 p.m. and you're trying to finish your harvest, but you need to turn your headlights on, but the fog's out, so your headlights do nothing because it just puts a bright, ness in front of you, so you're not seeing any. It's just too much. It's all the time. Fog, fog, fog. Needs to dial it down. And the new mod that came out today, real weather, something weather related, is it says it intensifies the fog. I'm like, no, I'm not downloading that mod because it's already there enough. It intensifies the snow also, which sounds cool, but I don't need the fog any more intense at all.
I can't say as I blame you there. That would
And
make me run away at the.
how long has the game been out? We're on about 4 months now.
Yeah, pretty close to that.
January, February, yeah. Uh, I have not once seen a tornado yet in any of my games. I don't know what it takes. I was kind of excited to see one of those bad boys. Haven't seen one yet.
I'm right there with you. I've been playing it, pretty much consistently every day for, since it's come out, and yeah, I've yet to see one. So
I've had hail ruin some crops and fields, but no tornadoes yet.
same here. Yep, same here. So what's one thing that's not in Farming Simulator that you really wish was there? Now, I understand that this question may be slightly different for a PC player because it was initially created for people who were console players, but this one may be less relevant to a PC player. So if we need to skip
Repeat it
over it,
one more time.
what's one thing that's not in Farming Simulator that you really wish was?
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, we do have, since we have so many great modders, if it's wanted, it can usually be made. But I'll do you one better. I'll reverse the question. What's one thing I think we have too much of? Although I think it's very cool and very neat, I think some of the mods that some of the PC modders are making are unnecessary. I don't, they're very cool, but I don't need a 78 Volkswagen Jetta to go farm. And and I'm not the type that says you're, unfortunately the PC people can be very toxic and rude. I don't ever voice my feelings. I know how to my mouse is real high tech. It has this little wheel and I can scroll right past a post that bothers me. A lot of people don't know how to do that. And if it doesn't concern me or I don't give a crap about it, I keep moving that wheel and it moves you right on past it. But some people don't know how to do that. Um, but there's a lot of mods that modders make, and I'm just like, I don't know what this has to do with my farm. What do I do with it? I don't get it. So that's it. So kind of reversing your question.
I appreciate that. That was. I'm still trying to compose myself after that one. That was pretty good.
I paid
uh,
extra. I guess a lot of people don't get that wheel on their mouse. I don't know.
I mean, I thought it was standard, but I guess not. So, what kind of maps do you prefer to play Is it the kind of wide open American style, but still with the reliefs like you were talking about earlier, or would you play a tight, compact kind of farm UK style?
Uh, I have tried the tight streeted UK things. Um, I love some of the content out there. You know, Farm Sim guy had a great series about being uh, where all he did was the the contractor, I think was the name of his series. Great series. But uh, it, I'm from Texas. We got big things. So I'm used to big things. I tried, I tried, and
Everything's
they're
bigger in
beautiful.
Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. If someone is to make a UK map, I need them to make like all the fences and cobblestone walls, like to have no uh, collisions. Because, yeah, I couldn't do it.
It's completely understandable. It took me a very, very long time to kind of warm up to the UK style of play. And even to this day, I still get frustrated from time to time. It's like, oh, why did I decide to do this?
Hmm. And they're beautiful. I mean, don't get me wrong. Or yeah, there you go, nacho cast, make them deletable. And there's a couple maps that they are. Um, I think Comston, their walls and stuff are, if I'm not mistaken, maybe at least the bushes. I don't know. But
I,
I've seen a couple that, they made in those tight areas, they made the fences and stuff with no collisions, and that would be fine. Or you just drive through it. May not be realistic, but it is less frustrating.
Absolutely. And what style of farming do you prefer? Do you prefer just to deal with the arable crops? Do you prefer to do like forestry, grass care? Like what kind of stuff do you like to do when you're playing farm sim?
My current favorite is uh, just doing farm builds. I'm in love with just it. Like I said, what this game's been out almost 4 months now or whatever. I just started my first series maybe a week or two ago, and that's the one I've been doing live on Small Town USA. Um, I I kind of had writer's block, if you will. I couldn't decide what to do as far as content, so that's why I just started making farms, making I'd go to a map and just buy a field and build a whole farm on it, whole setup. And then I'd start another game save, do it again in another field, another map. So that's currently my favorite thing to do. Um, but if I'm playing, it's usually farming. I've tried forestry, wasn't really my thing. It might be if I'd actually used my joystick I have. I don't even use it, but I like old iron. I like 50s to 90s range of equipment. Old school farming is the playthrough I kind of try to do or stick to, and just doing maybe cows and chickens, and then a couple fields.
Gotcha. And to kind of backtrack a little bit, so I'd mentioned how I had watched your series or your a little bit of your series there for the pickup trucks, the Chevys and the Fords. And as I was kind of watching it, I kind of got the vibe that you yourself may be into automobiles. Is that kind of on point there, or?
Hey, yeah, I mean, I'm a Texas guy, so it's uh, trucks are mainly, but I mean, I also like muscle cars, old school muscle cars. So I'm a not a big gearhead, but I like a good sounding V8 and a good work truck. I like you know I like it to look usable. If we're talking about trucks, something you can throw a hay bale in and not care about. It don't have to be a you know what they call them, a concrete princess or whatever. I like a good work truck.
Mm-hmm. So let's say money was no object. What would be your dream car to purchase?
My dream pretty much always been a '69 Camaro.
Oh, I've told the story before on the channel. My father, he had an old '68 Camaro SS, and yeah, it was a beaut, absolute beaut. Um, let's see. What are some of your most favorite jobs to do for Farming Simulator? Like, do you do contract work at all to generate money, or uh, and if so,
I
what are
do
some of the ones
do
you try to do?
some contracting, um, but I would say my favorite thing to do is probably harvesting. Harvesting weed, or I like working the harvester.
There's something about that the harvest itself that is really satisfying. You feel like like every job you do, you get that kind of sense of accomplishment. But there's something about that specifically, especially when it's your own field, because you get to have that kind of that thing from all that effort that went into that field up to that point. What would you say would be your least favorite job?
It's my favorite car.
I'm sorry.
My favorite car, '69 Camaro, orange with the black stripes.
Oh, I'm on a different page, so I didn't realize that you were showing it off. That's a beaut right there.
Yeah, she's a beauty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, repeat that question.
So we were talking before what your most favorite job to do around the farm is. What's your least favorite?
Uh, Least favorite. It's a tie between forestry and root crops.
I can understand both of those.
Yeah, I've tried both. I don't mind potatoes for some reason, but um, yeah, I don't care for carrots and forestry.
Is it because for the root crops, specifically in the non-potatoes, and I presume sugar beets would be relatively similar to potatoes? Is it because of the types of equipment that we have access to? That's kind
Yeah,
of the
it's almost impossible to, because you got to have a tractor and a trailer right next to you to unload into. If you're playing single player, and your AI is worthless. It's just a headache. It's I'm sure there's a workaround and a way to do it efficiently, but I got too frustrated and just said no thanks.
I completely
I said other
understand it.
words. I said other words along with that, but we're going to keep it at that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure many of us have said many a words when it comes to the root crops because of the equipment that we have access to. But that's the great thing that we have modders for. Um,
Exactly.
the I forget what the mod was called, but it was a giant blue harvester that worked on pretty much all root crops. It worked on cotton, it worked on sugarcane, but it had like the 100-meter wide pickup width. That one,
Oh yeah. Somebody else put it out. I know which one you're talking.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was it made harvesting those root crops, regardless of what it was, basically the same as harvesting the potatoes. So
Yeah, they had a regular harvester too for grain crops, and there was also the TARDIS trailer. What was the
yep.
name of the dang?
Well, there was the Colossus pack.
There you
Um,
go. Colossus was the grain headers, but that same person is the one that made the root crop one. I can't
well,
remember what that one was called.
so
Wasn't it the same person?
no, so I think it was actually somebody different. I could be wrong
Oh,
about that. Don't
Josh is
quote me
saying
on it.
Mark IV's T40. Are you saying Colossus Pack 2? I was thinking Colossus did too.
Well,
I
so
thought the Colossus.
the Colossus did have a root crop harvester, but then there was the blue one that I'm talking. It was basically a repaint of the Grimmy uh, potato harvester, but it worked on all the root crops.
Maybe it's
Um,
Mark Thor's that he's talking about, and that's another great modder right there, Mr. Thor. He made some good ones.
oh, for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, as a creator, what kind of advice would you give to somebody who's looking to start? Like we kind of asked that earlier, but actually let me change this up just slightly because we kind of asked something very similar earlier from I think it was Joystick User. Um, Actually, I just got that name wrong, and why can't I'm blanking on the name? I apologize. Tony S is the name, but what's the one bit of advice that you'd give to somebody who's who's in this shared space, um, but they're just kind of just starting out. They're just kind of going along. What would you tell them to kind of get them off the ground, kind of thing?
As far as just playing the game or making content.
Uh, let's go with the making content first, and we'll answer both.
Uh, well, I mean, biggest thing is to have fun. I mean, if you're not enjoying the game, you're not going to be able to fake it for whoever you're trying to make content for. Um, you know, you're gonna run across people that will just maybe find your stream or channel and just keep going. Well, obviously that wasn't the person for you, but you can't let it discourage you. You still got to enjoy what you're doing. Uh, I mean, like I've said a few times, I mean, I've got a full-time job. This is just my extracurricular activity. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but I don't care if you're having fun. I mean, I do, but I'm the one that has to have fun because I'm the one playing the game and making the content. And if you are truly doing that for yourself, then that'll radiate to whoever's you're watching it with, and you'll find those same type of people. Just let it be natural. You know what I mean? If they don't like it, there's the door. The ones that are still here, they'll be the ones that are going to be watching you on BDD's farm sim talk and hanging out. Those are the guys I care about right there. So just let it be you, and the rest will just fall into place.
And that's fantastic advice. Yeah, people can tell when you're not being authentic and when you're not enjoying what you're doing, because
Hmm.
it's nearly impossible to sit there and to brave through, hours worth of content to be able to put up a false face kind of thing.
Hmm.
It's nearly impossible, and most of the time people can pick up on those things. So if you're not enjoying yourself, then it's just one of those that people will pick up on it and they'll move on. But if you're
Yeah.
enjoying yourself, then as long as you're doing it for yourself, it doesn't matter, if somebody doesn't necessarily like the content you're creating, because the people who are out there that will find you will enjoy what you're doing, and they'll know that you're being
Hmm.
authentic doing it.
And another thing, you can tell that I'm glad they're able to do it, but there are plenty of people that are actually do this. That this is their job, the content creating. This is how they're making their money. And some of the big ones, and I'm not just talking farm sim, I'm talking, I'm not going to name any names, but if you go watch them, and I do it from time to time because I enjoy watching some of the bigger names, and you can tell it's not the same. They're literally, it's their job. They're getting paid for it, so it doesn't seem natural anymore. It feels like they don't respond to their followers, their chat. That's why I'm enjoying these lives so much, because I think I had like 15 in there the other night, and that was blew my mind away that 15 people would want to come watch this hick from Texas come play a farming game. But I've been having a great time doing it, but those people that are actually getting paid for it, you can tell it's just money to them. They're not as uh, I don't feel like they care about the community, I guess. I mean, they may, but you can tell it's not the same. That's why I enjoy supporting these smaller people and hanging out with these smaller people and learning with these smaller people. Not trying to downgrade anybody here, but you know what I'm saying. I like
Hmm.
I root. I'm the type that roots for the underdog, and uh, at the same time tries to figure out how I can help the underdog. I may not be the best anything streamer. Dang sure not. I don't, like I said, I don't call myself a modder, but I am fortunate enough to be around quite a few that are. And if I, in my Discord, someone's having problems with, they can't get their blinker to work. Well, I know this modder over here knows the lights like the back of his hand, so I can hook them up. Have no, that's what I like to be able to say I'm doing. Or when you came to me with this idea and I was blown away with, I was just had that idea. That's crazy. And I immediately threw you, 3, 4, 5 people that I wanted to interview, and I knew would be good content for you and good for them. And that's what I enjoy with it. So yeah, I'm uh,
Well,
uh, just being myself and being natural.
absolutely. And to kind of add on to that, um, one of the things that really kind of blows my mind about the community within Farm Sim is the sense that a lot of people seem to almost naturally gravitate towards this, but they seem to understand that more hands make lighter work,
Hmm.
and there's a very much a willingness for people to engage, to help out and go beyond, like yourself, like Dust Bunny, to go out and to go above and beyond what is even being asked of. um, yeah, it's an amazing community that we have here, and it's yeah, just something I wanted to kind of piggyback off of. Um, so, what would you say has been the most memorable moment of your content creation career so far?
Mm, most memorable moment. I've had several good ones. I would say just meeting the people that I've met. I've got, uh, I've got friends in the UK. I've got friends in Canada. I've got friends, in just this game has led me, and not just from content creating, but through other people's discords and stuff like that. It I've met people that are also, military and law enforcement, and just having common grounds to also be able to build off on top of Farm Sim. So I would still say the community is what what keeps me going, is the most memorable for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, who would you consider to be your favorite map maker?
Um,
Like we threw out Celebuki several times tonight. Would you consider them to be your favorite, or
I'm gonna have to. It's gonna have to be a tie between Celebuki and Elk Mountain modding. Uh, both of them just blow me away with how they. I mean, there's other good map makers, but those two just blow me away. The maps they produce.
what I find with this question here is that a lot of people will answer it in almost like a segmented kind of way, because there's different map makers that will have different strengths within their style of map. So there's some map makers out there that'll make like the most hyper realistic looking map, and it's just the kind of visual beauty that they portray and bring to it. There's other map makers who they'll have a beautiful map, but it's not as beautiful or as realistic, but they have like all these additional features that are inside their map that really kind of put them towards the top. And it's all these kind of like subcategories that really kind of make each modder kind of rise and fall throughout the categories. Would you say that there is a specific style of map that kind of draws you towards the map, number one, but would kind of shuffle around that ranking order if, let's say, we were looking at different styles of those subcategories?
Uh,
So I guess an example I can give that would kind of exemplify this is we've kind of mentioned, poor I'm sorry, not poor, but we mentioned Celebuki as a map maker who makes beautiful maps, but also has a lot of categories, like a lot of additions and details to their
mhm.
map. Poor Boy, I think, is a brilliant map maker who makes very intensive forestry style maps. There is some in the way of farms and fields and stuff like that, but for the most part, they tend to stick with forestry. But what also tends to set him apart from other forestry makers is the fact that he will also add all the kind of additional bells and whistles, very similar to a Celebuki, all the modified production points and all the modified kind of just kind of sell points and things like that. That kind of subcategory that they have kind of boosts them up towards the top, uh, because it's kind of the sum of all the parts. So, is there a map maker who they may not have the prettiest map, but because they add so much other stuff, kind of boosts them up in the rankings to you?
Hmm.
I guess that's more the spirit of the question.
Uh, there is a map I'm thinking of, and I can't think of the name of the map or whose it was. Um, it might be Squiggles. Josh might be able to confirm. Um, he's got a few maps that he came out with, but usually goes above and beyond on production points and things you can make. It seems like I think it's Squiggles. So I can't. I can picture it, but I can't think of what the dang map was called that I'm thinking of. But I like that. Something. Uh, you pretty much have the same in-game production points, especially I'm sure on the console end because your options are limited to the end game. Um, so the ones that go, uh, yeah, that might have been Josh, his Elm Creek edit. Um, it just adds more to the game that you can do. That way you're not just making the same cake and bottle of milk every time. He's adding uh, different things. I mean, just adds more possibilities for you to do.
I gotcha. And kind of piggybacking off of the favorite map maker, um, who would you consider your favorite modder? Now,
Mm.
to kind of emphasize this, who's that one modder out there when you see something that they have produced? It's like I'm downloading this right now.
There's several of those.
And even if you don't want to give like your favorite, who would you say like your top three or top five?
I'm gonna give if I'm making a Rushmore, I'm gonna put Josh on there because I know he does so much for crossplay I mean, he does great mods, period. But there's most of the modders I know only do third party, and that leaves y'all out. So him going above and beyond to make sure what he's making is for everybody, that gives him bonus points. Um, and his favorite mod, if unless it's one of your questions, we'll knock it out now. His stacked pallet mod, which I still need for 25, Josh. Get to cranking on it. The stacked pallet mod was a lifesaver. Uh, and his horse mod was pretty awesome too at the end of 22. But so yes, I'm gonna put Josh up there because he looks out for the whole community, on Mod Hub. Um,
Big shout out to Gaming Joy.
yep, Gaming Joy. Give him a follow, guys. Um, I would say I've got to give my buddy Zoot. He's probably, if he's not my longest farm sim friend, he's number two. I can't remember if I was uh, ran into Zoot first or my buddy in the UK, Diesel Dave or Diesel Dreamer. I'm sorry. Which one came first, the chicken or the egg? But uh, uh, he makes good mods that I enjoy. Um, Man, there's so many other good modders out there, though. I'm what did I say? I was going to do a Rushmore. That's four. Uh, I would say someone that's cranking out mods like crazy, again, PC only, is Newell Gaming. He makes a lot of good mods, a lot of placeables and productions and stuff like that. And as far as vehicles, uh, good friend of mine, Hashi, makes trucks. Several of his were in those videos that I've done on the trucks. So there you go. There's my Mount Rushmore, my current Mount Rushmore. That 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 one's a hard one to do though. There's a lot of great modders.
Oh, and yeah, there's so many great map makers, so many great modders out there.
82 Studios,
Yep.
Omatana. Just I mean, you can just go on and on and on. There's so many good ones.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible with just how much effort and work that the modding community will put into these mods, these maps, etc. And we get to enjoy them for nothing.
Hmm.
So it's a huge thing that these people will go out and do, and it's for the love of the game and the love for the community. So if you have an opportunity, give a huge shout out and show appreciation to any and all modders out there for what they do, because without them, Farm Sim would not be anything like what it is now. They,
Absolutely.
they are like Giants is the backbone, but I would say the modders, and map makers are the heart and soul of the game.
Yep. Yep. And I just saw Star Spangled Mods in your chat too. Star Spangled, I'm gonna be watching your videos, so keep those going.
Yep, I actually I just forwarded Gold your video there, Star Spangled. So, uh, yeah, so he's definitely going to be checking that out. And let's see, we got let's say because you mentioned before how you're dabbling in the whole mod and maps realm. Let's say skill was not an issue. Let's say you had all the prerequisites to be able to make any kind of mod or any kind of map that you wanted to make. What outside of the gate that you were telling us before, what would be like your most like this mod I want to make and be able to bring, whether it's to all platforms, whether it's to PC only? What's that one that you would want to do, and skill wasn't an issue?
Just a mod, I would say. Oh, I don't know what. Oh, no, I do know. I would like to see pumpkins brought in, and I don't mean in greenhouses, fields and harvesters. That's one thing I would like to, if that's allowed to be an answer. I would say I would like us to have pumpkins.
I gotcha. So you'd want to be able to kind of spearhead the whole, be able to make a harvester, be able to make like the type of either seeders or planters that would require to be able to put it in the ground,
Hmm.
like that
Yeah,
whole umbrella.
if we're talking about something that's not out or going to be out again, something brand new to bring in, yeah, I would say that. I know it's a big part of our farming here in America, and it hasn't been addressed yet.
No,
And there's other stuff. There's other stuff too, but I know there's some lot of big pumpkin farms out there. So I think that'd be cool to add another uh, area for mappers too. You know.
no, absolutely, yeah, and pumpkins are a huge thing over here. I mean, you figure just Halloween alone, the
Hmm.
amount of pumpkins that are gone through just in that time of the year is astronomical. Um, I
And
mean,
it's a good rotation crop too. I've actually looked into it. Like when the first stock of 25 was coming out, and people were like, "What's the new?" You know, obviously we're going to get new crops, and that's one of the ones I submitted or wished that they would add was pumpkin. So I did a lot of investigating on it. So it's one of those, you grow this in the late summer, fall, and then rotate it to something else in the winter, spring. So it's a usable crop that we could have.
I gotcha. And kind of the same question, but you had mentioned how the map you're making is of the family farm, uh, that's like your family's farm.
Hmm.
If you had, or not if you had, but if you could choose either another location or even a semi-fictional location, where would you choose to make another map?
I've already got my number two map in my head and actually kind of put out. I won't give away too much details, but I'll give you two hints.
Let's hear it.
One, it's a real place where I'm picking. It'll be based off a real area, just like my farm will be. But the idea of it is also in my favorite game.
Oh,
So I'm going to be going old school on some of the placeables and buildings, and you just time will tell.
that's awesome. Okay, well, I think that that's a pretty good hint at bare minimum, and kind of leaves us a little bit of a cliffhanger for the end of
Plus,
this segment. So let's go ahead and catch up with the chat there and see if we have any questions from them. So let's start.
but can I announce something real quick while you look through chat?
Absolutely.
Well, how many can somebody go over to my YouTube real quick and come back and tell me how many subscribers I have? Uh, hey, Kansas boy, welcome in. Do you mind doing that real quick?
Nacho Cast says bumper sticker. Have you hugged a modder today? I like that. After
I think
hearing
I'm at like
some
313, 314. Nice. Thank you, Dust Bunny. Well, I decided to do a giveaway. Uh, and once I get to 500, I'm going to be doing a giveaway on my channel. I'm going to do a live giveaway. I purchased it's not going to show up, maybe. Is it showing up?
let's see.
Uh, it's the
Oh, the
Logitech side panel.
mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be giving this away. So as soon as I get to 500, I've decided I'm at 315. Uh, yep, there it is. Heavy equipment side panel Logitech. We're going to do a live drawing for this, and that's my way of giving back to y'all coming hanging out with me. So I just wanted to, I've already announced that on my channel on YouTube, but I wanted to share it with you guys. So if you know anybody that needs that or wants to come hang out, make sure you tell them to come my way, and we'll get that away as soon as we can.
Oh, that's excellent. That's a real good giveaway right there. Um, let's see. I'm still looking through to try and find if there's any questions.
Nacho, excuse me while I create 186.
Yeah, so that reminded me. If you're not subscribed to Gold, go ahead and go subscribe to him. It's Gold Gaming. Give me the numbers again one more time for your channel name.
3281.
Gold Gaming 3281. Go hit that subscribe button. Help him get up to 500 subscribers, and yeah, then we can see him do that giveaway. Let's see. I'm not seeing any questions up to this point. If I'm missing anything there, chat, go ahead and put it down towards the bottom of the chat there, and I'll do my best to pick it up. But seeing that we are now at the end of that segment, we are gonna we're gonna start our last wow, words are hard.
Words hard today.
We're going to get into our third and final segment. This is the That's a Silage Wrap segment. This is where we're going to start closing things out. So we kind of went through the audience and see if we had any questions. I didn't see anything off the top. Let's start out with, do you have any future plans or projects?
Besides trying to learn the mapping, modding stuff, I would say as soon as a map that comes out that just grabs me, I'll start some type of series, probably just another Let's Play. But I want to hone my editing skills, stuff like that. I'm still going to do my lives. I don't think you are going to lose me on lives because I just enjoy it too much. The interaction with the tens and tens of people. But I can't wait.
Excellent. Let's see. And can you tell us once again where to find you?
If you're looking for your farm sim content, right here on Gaming 281, it actually works on all platforms. Twitch, TikTok, and Discord. I only use Twitch and TikTok for lives on other.
Oh, I don't know what's going on, but it's kind of coming in a little choppy there. Do you want to try and repeat that just one more time? Because it was just, in my ear, it's coming in and out.
Gold Gaming 3281 on all platforms. Discord,
Excellent.
Facebook. Oh yeah, I have a Facebook page too. I don't know if for my channel. YouTube, Twitch, Kick. Not Kick. I have a Kick, but I don't use it. Twitch and TikTok. That's what I was trying to say. And Discord.
Excellent. Well, like I said, let me take one last quick look. I'm not seeing any new chats or anything, any questions like that. So, yeah, I think we're kind of good to go from here. Gold Gaming, I want to thank you so very, very much for coming on here tonight and participating in this. I had an absolute blast with you here tonight and getting to learn a little bit more about you, who you are personally, and who you are kind of behind the channel. So, again, thank you so very, very much. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I appreciate it. Thank you all. And I see several people saying they subscribed. I appreciate that. And appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come join you.
Oh, absolutely. Now, before we go, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there. This is a ongoing series where I'm trying to get involved and get in touch with pretty much anybody within the farming simulator space. So content creators such as myself and Gold Gaming here, modders also like Gold Gaming, and the like, map makers, etc. So if there's anybody out there that you would like me to see, or who would like to see this series and to do this with other map makers, modders, content creators, etc., if you have somebody off the top of your head that you'd like me to get in contact with, let me know who you'd like to see on this channel, because I would love to continue doing this. I'd love to be able to do more modders and map makers, to be able to kind of get their perspective. They were kind of the driving force and inspiration behind this endeavor. So yeah, like I said, if there's somebody out there, go ahead and reach out to me on any of my social medias. I've got Discord, Facebook, X, Instagram. Go ahead and get a hold of me. Let me know who you'd like to see on this series, and I'll do my best to try and set it up. And if you are a content creator, modder, map maker, etc., and you are interested in doing something like this, go ahead and reach out to me directly. Like I said, any of the social medias, I will go ahead and do my best to schedule you and get you in here. The only thing I ask is that the people who come on the show must be at least 18 years of age or older. That's the only thing. Is I do not want to have minors doing the interviews and stuff like that. It just opens the door to not good things. So 18 years of age or older. If it's in question, I will require some kind of identification in order to verify. So yeah, outside of that, I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight and hanging out with us. Again, Gold, thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate you coming out. And yeah, that's gonna be it. I hope everybody here enjoyed it here tonight. If you did, please show me by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. Shows you're engaged with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Take care. Hey, Gold, go ahead and hang on for just a second until after the outro, and I will catch you on the other side.
You got it. Thank you,
All right.
guys.
Take care, everyone.